Hello trainers, Professor Palm here, and I just want to say my mind is blown, mainly because it's my 200th video! I can't believe it! I'm finally at 200 for videos. Wow, when I made 100 videos, that was crazy, but now I've made it again with 200 videos. Thank you all for watching my videos, commenting, liking them, whatever you've done. All because of you trainers, I've kept going and I still will. Well, about a few months ago, I asked all of you trainers a very important question of what I should do for my 200th video special. I made a little bit of a list. I asked, should I cover my very first Pokemon capture ever? Should I talk about my favorite gym leader? Or should I talk about my favorite flying type Pokemon? Well, some times went on, the poll went out, and it appears that you want me to talk about my very first Pokemon capture ever. Oh boy, that's a great story, and it all happened on my birthday in 2005 with Pokémon Emerald. Well, sit down, it's story time! I had just left Little Root Town in the Hoenn region. As you know, I started off with Torchic. That was my starter, and because I really love bird Pokemon, I thought I was going to do an entire bird team. So I kind of skipped on catching any Pokemon on Route 101, Route 102, and then I made it to Petalburg City. But along the way, I took on a bunch of trainers and won with my Torchic. As I talked to my father, he told me you can't just rely on one Pokemon or a single type. You need to really branch out and see what else you can get. I took his words pretty seriously. So I decided that on Route 104, I would catch something new. And I walked into the tall grass and whoa!
A wild Taillow appeared. Just looking at this bird made me think something different. This was not something that I've ever seen before like the other wild Pokemon. This Pokemon was much different. I knew at that second I had to catch it. I knew that this was going to be a great Pokemon to have. So, as the battle started, I sent out my Torchic, and into battle we went.
I told Torchic, you scratch! Torchic scratched it. The Pokemon went to red health. I knew this was my chance. Alright, Pokéball, go! I threw the Pokéball. I watched Taillow go inside the Pokéball. It shook 3 times. I was nervous. The stars appeared. Gotcha! Taillow was caught. And to me, that was the very first Hoenn friend I ever made. Some people could say that it was just a random encounter, but to me, it was fate. It was fate that I met Taillow on Route 101 and I caught it. Yep, Taillow is the very first Pokemon I ever caught. And I gotta say, I'm glad the first Pokemon I ever caught was a bird. But it wasn't just Taillow that did a lot for me. It also evolved into Swellow. Out of all Pokemon I could have caught first, I have to say I'm so glad I started off with bird Pokemon, or I guess you could say flying Pokemon. But either way, the day I met Taillow was the day I earned my wings. I guess in hindsight, I could have gone to Route 103 and caught myself a Wingull, but I'm really glad that I waited for Route 104 to catch myself Taillow and evolve it into Swellow. This line means a lot to me. I know that it's a very easy and common thing to catch, but back then, Pokemon was brand new to me, and I'm so glad that I caught them. They mean the world to me. After all, I'm pretty sure that anyone else who caught their first Pokemon thinks highly of them and can never forget the day they met them. As for me, that's the case with both Taillow and Swellow. Anytime I see one of them, I always catch them. Of course, they'll never be like the first one I ever caught, but they hold a very special place in my heart. To me, I didn't just earn my wings when I first caught Taillow and then when I got a Swellow. I also took my very first flight ever. I spread my wings and I flew high. Yeah, this was before I had the HM for fly, but still, that's how I felt because with all the victories that Taillow and Swellow brought me, I felt like I was soaring to higher heights. I hope that all of you trainers who had a Taillow and a Swellow felt the same way as me. I think we should talk all about these incredible birds. But before we do that, I want to give a very special thanks to my collaboration partner, Halo Gaming, aka Professor Sassafras. Thank you so much for the amazing thumbnail you made, Professor Sassafras. If you really like the artwork she does, please check her out on her channel, or just check her out and even see what she's up to. She's an amazing artist. Well, other than her, there's another artist I'm going to thank today.
I want to give a very special thanks to Etsy artist HTTP Koopa for my shirt. This is the flying type jersey. You can actually buy this jersey in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Just go to the gym uniform store and bingo, you got it. Because I'm a flying type expert and I love flying type Pokemon, I of course bought this jersey, but I also bought it from him. He's an amazing artist. And since we're talking about Swellow and Taillow today, my first flying type Pokemon, as well as the first Pokemon I ever caught, I thought this is a great shirt to wear. So, if you want to check out HTTP Koopa on Etsy, I have a link to his Etsy page in the description below. So please go and buy a shirt from him, and give the guy some good business. He's such a talented artist. I may not be sponsored by him, but of course I want to say thank you for this amazing shirt. You are amazing, and I can't wait to see what other designs you make in the future.
I'm happy to say I'm ready to take off. Are all of you trainers ready? Well, let's spread our wings, flap them a little bit, and fly! Well, yeah, maybe we can't fly yet, but there are some Pokemon that can take us to higher heights, and there's some Pokemon that can even help us earn our wings. And I think the best one to start with is the little swallow itself, Taillow.
Taillow, the tiny swallow Pokemon, is based on the bird, the swallow, specifically the welcome swallow and the barn swallow. For its habitat, Taillow enjoy warm places like forests and meadows. They like places where there's a lot of bug-type Pokemon. They also really enjoy quiet and peaceful places where there's not a lot of noise. But they're also social, so they do want to be around other bird Pokemon too. Although Taillow may be small, it's a very courageous creature. Taillow stands its ground against any foe, no matter how much stronger or bigger it is. Even a tall, armored bird like Corviknight will not scare off Taillow. Taillow will fight with everything it's got. All in all, Taillow fears nothing. In other words, Taillow is a risk-taker and a very gutsy Pokemon. It will remain defiant even if it loses a fight. Taillow have a very adventurous nature. They love going exploring. Also, they love to fly. They fly so much that a single Taillow can fly 180 miles in a day. Meaning that if you find a Taillow, it's possible that it came from another place or another region, and it could just be settling down after that long flight. Taillow despise the cold. When winter starts approaching, Taillow will migrate immediately to a very warmer place, as it enjoys being in the heat and basking in the sunshine. On an interesting note, despite Taillow really liking the sunshine and being in warmer climates, it cannot be found in the Alola region or in any of the games, even though it's a warm tropical place that's sunny year-round, as Taillow really doesn't like the cold. Don't you think this would be a great place to find one? Being a bird, Taillow cries a lot, but something rather impressive is, when Taillow cries, you can tell a lot about its mood. If Taillow becomes hungry and wants its trainer to feed it, it'll cry out in a very rhythmic way, saying, "Please feed me, trainer, I'm hungry." If Taillow were to become very angry, they would give off ear-piercing chirps telling anyone around them, "Stay away from me." Taillow also have very sad cries. They're loud, but they sometimes sound like murmurs, meaning that, "I'm sad, can someone please help me?" For example, a young Taillow that has only left the nest sometimes becomes lonesome, and it cries out loudly in a sad way, hoping that other Taillow or other flying-type Pokemon will come out. This is a way of them saying, "Please, someone out there, please be my friend. I don't like to be alone." Taillow really like to eat bug-type Pokemon, but their favorite thing they like to eat most of all is Wurmple. To them, Wurmple is a sweet treat. Taillow made its anime debut in the Pokemon Advanced Series episode, You Can Never Taillow, where it was the leader of a flock of wild Taillow in the Petalburg Woods. This Taillow stole Max's chocolate and challenged Pikachu to a battle. It also led its flock to attack Ash and his friends before it was stopped and intervened by Brock and his fortress, who had been following Ash to join him on his journey. The leader challenged Ash and Pikachu again. After Ash saw how strong this leader could be, he captured it. This made Taillow Ash's first captured Pokemon in the Hoenn region, and of course, his first Hoenn friend. If you happen to catch a wild Taillow, it will only have one ability, and that ability is none other than Guts. This raises Taillow's attack stat if it has a status problem. When Generation 5 came out and introduced hidden abilities, Taillow's was revealed to be Scrappy. This allows Taillow to attack Ghost-type Pokemon with both normal and Fighting-type moves. Basically, Scrappy is like using the move Odor Sleuth, or using them. For stats, Taillow has the same base stats as its seabird buddy, Wingull. The only major difference is Taillow's attack and special attack are Wingull's, but reversed. Using Taillow competitively is a very bad idea, because along with Wingull and Starly, Taillow is tied with them for having the lowest defense, and special attack. In Pokemon Coliseum, we've learned that some Taillow can be messenger birds, as one of them brings berries to an old man at a gate town every day. Blue Boy Finn, I think it's time that we talk about that amazing little detail about Taillow that very few people know about. Blue Boy Finn did some research on Taillow after looking at some of the demo from Ruby and Sapphire before the game was completed. Someone used the move Lick on a Taillow, and it hit. This means that Taillow at one point was going to be the very first pure flying type Pokemon before it was a normal in flying. Blue Boy Finn combed through the data, and what do you know? That's exactly what Taillow was. While we now know Taillow as a normal and flying type, it's kind of cool that it would have been the very first pure flying type Pokemon ever. Taillow, you were the first Pokemon I ever caught in the Hoenn region. You really brought me so many victories, you brought me so many amazing items, and of course, we did so much together. I went so many places with you, and I couldn't have thought of a better Pokemon to caught first than you. Well, as time went on, you evolved, and we're gonna evolve our little Taillow into Swellow. This Pokemon is a great flyer, and it'll take you ever higher. Swellow the Swallow Pokemon is based on the bird, the swallow, specifically the barn swallow and the welcome swallow. Its colors and crest also draw similarity to that of the bird, the tree swift. Just like with its previous evolution in Taillow, Swellow also enjoy living in warm places as well as peaceful places, just like forests and meadows. They really like being in the sunshine as they despise the cold. The wings of a Swellow are its pride. Swellow hate getting dirty and losing any feathers on its wings. With the care they bring to both those wings, they become very nice and very glossy. It's said that the glossier a Swellow's wings are, the faster it can fly. If many Swellow are together, they don't get into an argument of who's the best looking. They're all equal. In fact, they diligently take care of one another, cleaning each other's wings and making sure no one is missing feathers. They all want each other to look their very best. I guess you could say Swellow is a bit of a stylist Pokemon. Since Swellow really like to style each other, they also have been known to help try to style other bird Pokemon. Some of them like it, and some of them don't. But it's pretty nice that Swellow isn't a hog with style. It decides, I want to give everyone else a great style, and maybe they'll also like it just as much as I do. When looking at Swellow from the back, you'll notice that it has two long pointed feathers with red tips from its tail. This says a lot about their health. You see, if the two feathers are standing at attention, this is proof that a Swellow is in great health. Being a stylist, every single Swellow's twin tails and wings are different from every other. All of them have their own set style, and only they can decide whether or not they want to change it if they please. So, unless you want to be pecked, don't try to change its feathers or even put a brush on Swellow. It really doesn't like anyone controlling what it looks like and how it styles itself. If you're on a journey right now, maybe pause and look towards the sky. If you look overhead in most regions, you'll see Swellow as it soars elegantly, making graceful arcs in the sky. Since it flies so beautifully, some people call Swellow the angel of the sky. When it comes to hunting prey, Swellow is a fierce sky hunter. Swellow uses its impressive dive bomber speed to catch prey, and Swellow are so accurate and are so persistent on catching prey that there are no records of it ever missing when it locks onto a target. For its diet, Swellow really like eating bug-type Pokemon, but their favorite thing of all time are Wurmple. Mostly, Swellow really enjoy eating lots of caterpillar Pokemon. Swellow's feet also really come in handy for hunting. This is because when Swellow clamps its feet down on something, it never lets go. Swellow's nails are as hard as its beak too. If something was to try to escape Swellow's grasp, it would dig its razor-sharp claws deeper into the prey, holding on tighter so it doesn't get away. In battle and when in flight, Swellow is a master flyer. It can easily stoke out its opponents and even outfly them. It knows many tricks and ways to escape if it was to become prey to a much larger bird or other predator. If you're a trainer who really likes to go into contests in the Sinnoh region and the Hoenn region, I would suggest enter your own Swellow for a contest. Not only is it a great bird with an elegant style, but its sky tricks will dazzle anyone who watches, and there's a very high chance that you'll go home with a first place ribbon. Swellow made its anime debut in the Pokemon Advanced Challenge episode, Candid Camerupt, where it was under the ownership of Vito Winstraight. He used his Swellow to watch over his family as well as bring them notes telling him that he was okay, as Vito had left 2 months prior to go on his journey. On a really cool note about Vito Winstraight is if you fight him in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire at Victory Road, that Swellow I just mentioned in the anime will also be a part of his team. It'll be the first Pokemon he sends out. However, on an interesting note, this only happens in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. If you battle him in Pokemon Emerald or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, he will not have that Swellow and have completely different teams. In the Pokemon Advanced Challenge episode, Sky High Gym Battle, Fortree City Gym Leader Winona revealed that she herself also had a Swellow. Hers was shiny. This was done in order to avoid confusion from her Swellow and Ash's Swellow when they battled in the sky. It was a very tough Swellow to take on, but Ash managed to pull it off with his own Swellow. That earned him the Feather Badge. On an interesting note for Winona, if you challenge her in any of the Hoenn games, her Swellow will be the front runner of her team. Does anyone else remember the episode Solid as a Solrock, where Ash took on Gym Leaders Tate and Liza with both Pikachu and Swellow? If you do you remember the Thunder Armor? In my opinion, that was so cool, even though it was just a one-time deal. Since we have both Pikachu and Swellow together, I thought about mentioning it, because even though it was an anime-only thing, it was still a really impressive strategy that they used to win. If you happen to catch a Swellow, or evolve your Taillow into a Swellow, it'll only have one ability, being Guts. Guts boosts the attack of Swellow if it has a status problem. When Generation 5 introduced hidden abilities, Swellow's hidden ability was revealed to be Scrappy. This allowed Swellow to hit Ghost-type Pokemon with both normal and Fighting-type moves. Basically, this ability is like Swellow used the move Foresight and Odor Sleuth right off the bat. As you know, I'm a bird person, and I really like going into battle with my bird Pokemon. However, a lot of them have many weaknesses, and being a normal and flying-type Pokemon, Taillow and Swellow are weak to attacks that are Rock-type, Ice-type, and Electric-type. Only 3 weaknesses. That's not so bad. Well, I guess maybe we should see what Taillow and Swellow are strong against, so we can wing up in the battle. Being flyers, both Swellow and Taillow have a lot of strengths that they can use to their advantage. Since they can fly very high, they have moves that are super effective on Grass-type, Fighting-type, and Bug-type. Wow, 3 weaknesses and 3 strengths. That's pretty even. However, we're not done here, because Swellow and Taillow are both normal and flying type Pokemon. That means that they have a few immunities that can be very helpful in battle as well. Being normal and flying type Pokemon, Taillow and Swellow have not 1, but 2 immunities because of their typings. Starting off with the normal typing, Taillow and Swellow are unaffected by Ghost type moves. That's right, Ghost type Pokemon can't scare these normal flying type birds. Their moves just pass them by. And being that Swellow and Taillow are also flying type, ground type moves will do 0 damage. That's right, ground type attacks. There's nothing that you can do that's earth shaking to scare these Pokemon. Gotta say, pretty nice that they have 3 weaknesses, 3 strengths, and 2 immunities. Pretty hard to take down these birdies. I know I said it before, but wow, looking back at all these years later, I can't believe that Taillow was the very first Pokemon I ever caught on Route 104. I know I could have caught other Pokemon, but I was really saving it for a good bird Pokemon. And of course, on Route 104, I met that Pokemon that changed my life forever. Not only did it bring me a lot of victories, but it also became another buddy for my Torchic to have on his side. Together, these Pokemon really brought a lot of victory, and they were also some of the very first Pokemon I ever had my first double battle with. Thanks to Blue Boy Finn's research and finding out that Taillow was originally intended to be the very first pure flying type Pokemon, it has me thinking, is it possible Swellow was also going to be a pure flying type Pokemon? Or is it possible that Swellow was going to be the very first Pokemon to gain the normal typing through evolution. Unfortunately, the beta test like that is long gone, so we will never know the truth. But I gotta say, if it had been that way, being a pure flying type line, or a pure flying type becoming a flying and normal type Pokemon, that would have made Swellow and Taillow the most incredible birds ever. Something that I've always admired about Taillow and Swellow is their warm colors they have. I know that there's plenty of other bird Pokemon that have nice colors, but I really feel that compared to what we had from generations 1 and 2, 3 really did a big effort to make their bird Pokemon stand out. A lot of them had warm colors and they were very noticeable. I don't know why, but I guess because Taillow and Swellow spend a lot of time in the sun, this really makes their coat pop. And I gotta say, if that's the case, we really need a lot more Pokemon with these warm, vibrant colors. I know that some people get a little annoyed with Swellow and Taillow because they're kind of easy to get for Nuzlocks, but when I have done Nuzlocks, I'm always happy to have these Pokemon on my side. It's great to have a flying type to get you from place to place, and hey, sometimes having a flying type Pokemon can really benefit you, especially with the ability Guts, and also they have the move Focus Energy very quickly. So yeah, these Pokemon know a lot of great moves and they have great accuracy. So if you really want to take on your opponents quickly and never miss, I would always say go for Taillow and Swellow. After all, in the world of Pokemon, they have a clean record of never missing a single attack. It seems like just yesterday I got my Pokemon Emerald version for my birthday. I booted the game up and went on an adventure I will never forget. Well, I may have had my Torchic on my team, but there were many other Pokemon on my team that were helpful. And of course, Taillow and Swellow were some of the greatest Pokemon ever. Not just because they are very powerful birds, but because Taillow was the very first Pokemon I ever caught. I saw that thing appear on Route 104, I threw my Pokeball at it, saw the stars, gotcha! Taillow was caught. What a great memory that is. But then Taillow evolved into Swellow, and let me tell you, that was an incredible bird. We went many places, but Swellow did so much more for my team. When I had the HM Fly, I taught to Swellow, and of course, I could fly all around the Hoenn region. That was amazing. All I want to say is, I may not be a bird, but I really feel like I earned my wings with both Taillow and Swellow. And out of every Pokemon that could learn the move Fly, I just want to say, I'm glad it was this line I took my first flight with ever.
Hey, you're back! How was your flight throughout the sky? Did you enjoy going places with Taillow and Swellow? Well, trainers, I have a few questions for you. What was the first region you ever played, and who was the very first Pokemon you ever captured in the wild? Out of all bird Pokemon you can catch very early on in the game, what's your favorite line? Do you think it would have been great if Taillow and Swellow were the first pure flying type line? Or are you okay that we had to wait till Generation 5 to get our first pure flying type Pokemon with Tornandrous? Do you think that you can go an entire region using only bird Pokemon for your team? Or is that too hard for you? And back before it was a TM and it was an HM, who was the first Pokemon you ever taught the move Fly to? That was the first flight you ever took. Do you remember it? Well, trainers, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. If you have any questions, you want to answer the questions I throw out at you, you have an idea for a video, or you want me to cover something Pokemon related, please comment. And as always, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, smash that subscribe button. Halo Gaming, aka Professor Sassafras, thank you from the bottom of my heart for that amazing thumbnail. And I also want to thank all of you trainers. Thank you all for 200 videos. I have the motivation and I'm gonna keep going. Thanks for watching. Palm out!